actually. Hi. Hello, darling. Sesha. Welcome to this week's Dance Sesh, where we are in episode 3 of the twerking season, or the Pekwazela season. So, what we've been doing is sort of building up the steps and how to twerk, which is literally the purpose of the season, but also concentrating on the purpose of the whole Dance Sesh experience, which is a hug from me to you. So no stress, no discomfort, no pain, just breathing. So I am downstairs and recording in the afternoon for lighting purposes, so you're going to hear lots of noise, and I apologize for that. But now that we're here, we're going to do some sensible stretching. The reason why we need to stretch is because, as I'm discovering and confirming, we carry a lot of memory, emotional memory in our hips, which is tension inducing. So you may sometimes when you're walking feel like, oh, my hips are tight and things like that. And yes, that can be physical, but that can also be emotional, and often is emotional. So in order for us to get our hips to move so that our ass can move, we need to open up that area. Now, we're going to review the first 2 sessions. We're going to go deeper into those lessons, and the only way we can go deeper into those lessons is if we go deeper into our hips. So, disclaimer, these stretches are a suggestion, and also these stretches are not to be done exactly the way I do them. What I say is what I've always said. Please listen to your body. If you cannot bend as far as I can bend, that doesn't matter. It's how far you can bend. If you cannot open up your hips as much as I open up my hips, that doesn't matter either. It's what you can do. This whole process is about you learning to love your body, to absolutely love it, because it's the only one you have, and it's what's going to carry you through the rest of your life. And also learning a few tricks, hey? So, by the way, male or female, so I hope I have some male viewers or sessions. I know I have some male sessions, but I hope I'm getting new ones as well. If for any reason you cannot do it, please don't do it. And you can use things like blocks or books as props in order for you to be elevated, so you don't need to go as far down, okay? So, here we go. I have a yoga mat. You can literally just do it on like an open space. Find yourself an open space. I would advise against using like a towel or anything that can move around, because you'll slip, and if you're trying to find your balance and you slip, the towel moves around, you'll hurt yourself. So don't do that. Let's go. Come on. So I'm going to stretch out my yoga mat. Now, if you notice, here is a part of the wall that goes down, so I'm going to be on this side mainly. Right. What you're going to do, gosh, I lost my head. So what you're going to do is you're going to go down onto your yoga mat or your stretching area, and you're going to go into what we call child's pose. That's when you turn the back of the area, whatever area you have. You want to go to the furthest side, back. Go down on your knees. Hear that lovely click? My knees click. Dancer's legs in it. And we're going to start with feet together. Sit up. Make sure you're comfy. Stretch your hands up from your waist, and then let your chest lead you down. So you're going to touch your foreheads to the ground, and you're going to stay there for 5 breaths. You're going to take your hands, put them by your side, by your knees, and you're going to use that to push yourself up. Now sit back on your knees and walk your hands back so that you're leaning on them. And you're going to push your hips forward and hold that. So you squeeze your bum, push your hips forward, let your head fall back if you can, and do that for 5 breaths. So in, into your stomach, and then out through your nose. Keep squeezing your bum. Final breath. And to come out of it, bring your head up and then drive your bum back to your seat. And then bring the rest of your body back up. Now when you're here, put your hands in front, and now you're going to widen your child's pose. So you're going to put your knee as far as you can out, your right knee, and then you're going to put your left knee as far as you can out. Now the whole time, your big toes touch each other. They're kissing each other. Do that. Put your hands in front, and then what you're going to do is, thinking that your bum is trying to sit on your feet, you're going to walk your hands forward and let your head and your chest drop to the ground and look down, and we're going to do that for 5 breaths too. So a slow breath in to your stomach, and then a slow breath out through your open mouth. Now in, out. In, out. In again. Out. It's a lovely sigh. One last breath. Out. Now, what I like to do is, when I'm starting to bring my hands up, I deliberately sit back, and you can feel your inner thighs and your hips opening up a bit wider. This is a beautiful stretch. It's a gentle one to open up your hips, a gentle hip opener. So what we're going to do now is, you're going to bring your knees together. You're going to walk your hands forward. I'm going to hide behind the pillow now. And you're going to tuck your toes in behind you. Wriggle them to make sure. Wriggle back and forth. Make sure that your toes are sturdy. And you're going to push your bum towards the ceiling. Okay? Your hands are shoulder width distance apart. Your shoulders. So shoulder width distance apart. Now, push your bum. Now that's a lovely stretch for your back. And then you're going to drop one heel and bend one knee. And then alternate the other one. Do that again a couple of times. And then come back onto your toes. Drop your head. And then drop both heels at the same time. Just let them try to touch the ground. Now if you can touch the ground, that's fine. If you can't, that's also fine. And if you cannot do this movement, that's fine. Just stay in child's pose. Right. Now, pick up your right foot. Stretch it up as high as you can. Bend the knee and try to stack your right hip over your left. Feel the opening. Lovely breath in. Exhale. bring your right foot in between your hands and drop your left foot. So now, when you come up, you're in a lunge. This lunge is perfect because what you're going to do now is you're going to try and drop your hips down to the ground, and this opens up the inner thigh. And then you bring your arms up, sweep them up, stretch up, try to reach back, and press them to the knee that's standing. And use that to sort of push yourself back even as you press your knees down. And even as you press your hips down. So breathe. And now we're going to switch to the other hip. So you're going to push your hips back and straighten that leg. And when you straighten that leg, you're going to put your hands down and sort of do a lovely little half split. We're going to stay there for just a second. Now push yourself forward onto your hands. Now you're kind of doing a sort of full split. Come back and do your downward facing dog again. I don't know why it's called that. I've never seen a dog do that. So pick your left foot up, stretch it up as high as you can, bend the knee, and stack your left hip on over your right hip. And feel that stretch. Lovely breath in. Tuck your knee into your chest. Put your left foot down. And now you come back. You're doing the hip open up on the left side, and you may be wobbly, like one side of my body is more steady than the other. Reach your arms up, stretch nicely, lean back slightly, drop your hips, and then make sure your knee never goes over your big toe. This is to protect your knee from pressure, okay? So just drop your hips and breathe. It's a lovely stretch for the top of your thigh and for your inner thigh. It's beautiful. Right, now we're going to do the same thing on this side. You're going to put your hands down, stick your bum back, into just like a half split. Breathe in there, lean forward into your hands. Always be gentle with yourself. Now you're doing what's called a pyramid. Lean forward into your hands, lift that leg up, and then come back to your downward facing dog. There you go. Walk it out again. And now we're going to come back onto our knees and finish with a child's pose as a thank you to your body for doing those stretches however intensely you did them. Now come back down. You can have your hands forward, which is a nice stretch for your back. Even as we relax, we're working. Or you can bring your hands to your side, palms facing upwards, and just open up the back that way. And just breathe. Now you stay there and I'll talk you through something. Now while you're there, you should be feeling your hips opening slightly to the outside. You feel the pressure there. You're thinking that you want your bum to sit on your feet. You don't have to push anything. You don't have to pressurize anything into happening. Just the thought of that itself is enough to make your body start to work its way over there. And also gravity pulls the weight of your body down anyway. And just to say as well, if all you've managed to do is be in child's pose, whether knees together or knees open and wide, that is good too for the entire time that we've done, because what we've been trying to do is just open up and warm up our muscles. So, now that we've done that, we can go into dancing. So I'm going to stop here, this section of the video here, while I clean up, while I roll up my mat. Thank you. You want to do the same thing. You want to just clear up the area where you put whatever it is that you're exercising on, because now we're dancing, we're doing something different. Quick sort of informational service thing. I recommend that you stretch yourself every day. Whatever stretching you do, I recommend you do it every day so that your body gets into the habit of being relaxed and your muscles get in the habit of being opened and just loosened. And it's also, whether you do it for 10 minutes or 15 minutes or an hour, however long you do it, it's a good place to just quiet your thoughts. Not that you stop thinking, it's just you deliberately make sure that even if you do think, you don't hold on to the thought and develop it into an idea. You go, oh, I'm thinking about that, and I'll let it go. And I'm thinking about, oh, now I'm thinking about that. Let that go. And concentrate on just your breathing, because it works the muscles. Now, I didn't go into really intense hip openers. Like, you can do that if you are more physically fit, and also there are wonderful yoga instructors on YouTube. I personally enjoy Ariana Elizabeth. She's a YouTuber. She does free yoga. You can do that, but even if you're not doing yoga, whatever it is you do, it's part of a way to keep yourself emotionally and psychologically and physically healthy, to have some sort of daily routine of self-care like that. I highly recommend it. Now, on to deep, intense twerking. So, we're going to go do an overview of the first 2 lessons. And we're going to go intensely into them this time, because we have worked to, open ourselves up. During our first session, we concentrated on moving the side body. And we used our feet as part of that. There's a lady just outside my door, and we moved our hips as part of that. Now that's a gentle movement. What we're going to do today is we're going to combine the muscle work from last week and add it to the movement from the first week. Now the muscle work from last week, if you remember, we scooped the bowl forward, which engaged those muscles. And if you are concentrating, which I advise, you can feel your internal muscles bunch as you do that. And they should still be bunched. And then as you release them, your back muscles scrunch. So we're going to use that. So if we do it again, bunch your internal muscles, scrunch your back muscles. Bunch your internal muscles, scrunch your back muscles. So you must feel your internal muscles active there. We're going to use that now when we move our hips side to side, because all of the movement, literally all of the movement for whining or twerking comes from those internal muscles. So you really need to get comfortable with them, which is why we're doing the stretching and a lot of our psychological tension and thought goes into those muscles, which is why they become tense, and they tell the hips that they're tense. So when we're opening up our hips and we're stretching and breathing, we're telling them to relax. It's okay, so that we can play. So let's play. Again, pausing to talk. Let's do it again. So what we're going to do is feet wider than hip width distance apart. Sit in a high chair. Swoop the bowl forward. Swoosh it back. Swoosh it forward. Feel those muscles, swish it back. Now I want you to do that until you get an active, like you think about them actively. You can feel them engage and release, engage and release, engage, release, engage, release. Do it again. Engage, release, engage, release, engage, release, engage, release. And it's important here to remember to keep your shoulders loose, not to think tension into them, not to think, oh, are they tense, which will instantly tense them, but just to keep reminding yourself that they're not the ones doing the work. It's literally your hips and mostly your internal muscles. So in, out, in, out, in, out. You can hear my voice altered there because I'm engaged. Okay, now I'm thinking with them. What I'm going to do is, coming back up to full height, I'm going to keep them engaged. So keep that sway inside in your body. Keep it sway forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. You can see, you can notice the slight movement that my body is doing. In acknowledgement of that, that's going on in my head. Right. Thinking of those muscles, I'm going to shift them to the left and shift them to the right. Shift them to the left, shift them to the right. Now, how is it different from just moving the side body and the hip? Let's do that. So if you allow them to relax, stand down. Okay. Loosen those muscles, let go. Okay. Think I'm moving my hip bone. That's all I'm doing. So if you move that, and then you move that, it's an impressive movement, and it's a fluid movement. Yeah? And the internal muscles, I can feel mine trying to engage to help. So let's engage them now. Now it looks like water. Disengage them. It's fluid. It's like, I think it's the difference between air and water. Because this is, for me, this feels very airy and light. And I'm moving them. So move your hip. Remember what we said. You dip that hip and dip the other one constantly. And if we went fully into the movement, this is how it looks. Yes? Now if I engage my internal muscles to do it. Ga, ga, ga. Here we go. Yes. Now it's got more depth to the movement, doesn't it? So if you think that, I want this week for us to go into depth before we move on to adding more steps. We're going to work on depth in the first few steps. So here, think of engaging your internal muscles. Use that to drive your hips left to right. Drive and then let go. Engage again. Now if you want to, you can widen your stance so that you can get lower to the ground. Hello. You can come back up. Or you can shrink your stance. Right. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go back. We're going to disengage the internal muscles and do a purely external work with it. So we're going to work with external musculature. So we get that in the head and in the body. And then we're going to work with purely the internal muscles and get that into the head and into the body. And then we're going to combine the two. So, and also, just to say, if you feel yourself cramping, ease out. So, for an example, if you feel this causing a cramp, don't just get up, because that will make the cramp worse. So if it's there, just sort of ease out, pull yourself out of it, and then do a stretch to the side to open up your internal thighs. Yeah? Okay. Ease out of any discomfort. Don't jerk yourself out of it. You will hurt yourself. And the point of this is to be free. So, external muscles. Remember what we said when we stretched the side. What you're doing is you're scrunching and releasing these muscles. So if we do like scrunch, release, scrunch, release, scrunch, release. So if we concentrate on that, here we go. So you scrunch this side and that side. So if we do that, if you think drop your left hip, which will raise your right hip, drop your right hip, which will raise your left. Again, left, right, 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 left, right. And as you're doing this, I can feel that the muscles in my back pull and release. So if we do that, if we go left, right, 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 left, right. And I can feel my shoulders trying to help, which they don't need to. This is pure muscle. You're moving the pelvic basin. And see how the movement is in the back. Yes? So, the muscles in the back pull, release. Pull, so they kind of pull. This one's released. Pull, 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 pull. That's all that musculature. So if you pay attention to how that feels, so you'll know when you're doing it right and when you're doing what might cause you an injury. That's what we're doing right now. So again, sit high in a chair, feet hip wider than hip width distance apart. We're going to move the pelvic basin, and you're going to pay attention to what the muscles in your back and in your sides are doing. Not just what you look like. What you look like is wonderful, but this is what we're concentrating on now. 2, 3, 4. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. And I can feel this muscle pull and release. The muscles in my back bunch and release. Concentrate on that. One more time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fantastic. Now we're going to do purely internal. I'm going to show you my face. This might be very exhausting. That's fine. If you get tired, pull out and come back in again, okay? And then when I say pull, like literally just ease yourself out of it. Do a bit of a stretch, but do not cool down because you'll have to warm back up again. So have a bit of a walk around and then come back. Okay, here we go. Feet astride. Engage your internal muscles. This is them not engaged, this is them engaged. I'm trying to see. Oh, there is a difference. You can see in my body. So not engaged, engaged. Not engaged, engaged. Not engaged, engaged slightly. Oh, and the belt does a little bit of a tinkle. It's good. So now we're going to use that. So like you kind of stirring a pot, but instead of stirring it in circles, you're stirring it to the side, and it's going through something gloopy. So boom, 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 boom. And literally your internal muscles are the ones holding the wooden spoon to gloopily stir side to side, making a figure 8. So let's see if we can do that for ourselves. 5, 6, 7, 8. Don't forget to breathe, please. Breathe. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. My right leg is burning. I'm so glad I stretched my internal thighs. Again. So concentrating on the internal muscles. So your back, which is still working, shouldn't feel as intensely pulled and pushed. Because now you're concentrating the movement in that area quite deliberately. Did you hear my voice tremble? Ah, everything is so connected. Okay, easing out. How you guys doing? You alright? This is okay. We're gonna do a roll down, bit of a stretch. Oh, right. Bend your knees, put your hands on your knees, and sort of thrust your bum back. Give yourself a bit of a shimmy. Try to loosen those muscles, stretch them out. Straighten the knees, keep your back straight, then bend your knees, and roll up slowly. Right, we're going back in. I did say this week is a bit of an intense one, so don't sit as low this time because we're working the internal muscles. If you're working the internal muscles and you sit low, you're stretching them out like that too much. So sit slightly higher, engage the muscles, release, engage the muscles, release, engage the muscles, release, engage the muscles, and here we go. Ha! Remember, this is what it looks like when it's led by the hip bone. This. That is not what we're doing. We're leading with the internal muscles. So, here we go. This is good for you. In later life, controlling those internal muscles will help you immensely. There's loads of medical terms for it and stuff, but like men and women need to know how to control those muscles and to strengthen them. So here we go. I'm going to stop talking and we're going to concentrate on stirring. Remember, it's gloop. Gloop. And you're holding a wooden spoon with your muscles. Stir the gloop. Stir the gloop. Woo. Last time. Ease out. Bend forward. Bend your knees. Straighten your legs. Use the pressure on your back. Bend your knees, roll back up. Shimmy it out. Shimmy out the muscles. Well done. Well done. Now, we're going to go to section 2, which is when you're moving it forward and back, using the internal muscles consciously. Now, that should already be happening. That should already be what your body's doing anyway. But what we're doing this week is we're concentrating on what the muscles are doing, so that as we go into further lessons, it's engaged and it does it automatically, and before you know it, you're making your butt cheeks move one, then the other, without even conscious thought. If you can do that, that would be amazing. So, sit wide, sit low, because you want to give yourself a basin, right? So from the basin, forward, back. This is just external muscles moving, because we're moving the pelvic basin. So you think that you're thrusting both hips forward, pushing them back, forward, pushing them back, without engaging the internal muscles consciously. They do anyway, but what we're thinking of is moving just the bones and the external muscles. So you scrunch your abs, back, abs, back, abs, back, abs, back. And you get to see your body make a face. It's going, excellent. Now come out of that, shake your legs. I don't know if anyone else's body is telling them that they're working. Mine is. So now we're going to do that again, but now we're going to concentrate on how it feels when we feel our internal muscles engaged. So push, think consciously, someone's coming, you are coming to literally push your hips forward. Pull them back. Push, pull, push, pull, push, pull. When is it that you feel, there they are, engaged? So come up, be conscious of that engagement, move it left to right, there it is, okay? Now thrust forward, thrust back. Using that same spoon analogy, the glute is now going forward and back, using the internal muscles. We're not using the structure of the hip or the bone to help us. We're literally moving the entire frame of our pelvis using those internal muscles. Engage and breathe. Remember, think ease of movement in your shoulders. Just let them breathe, let them rest there. Last time. Come back up, shimmy it. I don't know about anyone else, but I can literally feel the muscles trembling slightly because of the effort of doing it. Because they just I don't consciously do that, which is why I think it's very important for us to work it together. So we're going to do it again. We're going to engage those muscles. We're going to work that body. So sit down. Remember, sit wide. Engage the internal muscles. Hold the wooden spoon. And I'm thinking I'm going to tap north, tap south. Tap north, tap south. But I have glute I have to work through. So 5, 6, 7, 8, go. South. North, south. And you may not be able to go very far. It's not about trying to get your hips to do this. It's not. It's getting your body used to that movement. It may be very subtle. That's fine. Engage those muscles. And what I'm noticing is the lower you sit, the harder it is on the body. So sit high for now. I can feel tension trying to ease into my shoulders, so I'm going to do that. Think wings. You don't have to do that. I'm trying to ease that tension. Okay, last time. Ease out, shimmy it. So for this last section, I'm going to attempt with you, we are going to attempt to go from forward to back to side using just our internal muscles. Forward, back, side to side, forward, back, side to side. And then, fingers crossed, we'll go a full circle, which is the beginning of your Let's do it. Why not? Hey, if not, why not? As my people say. So sit high. You can sit lower if you have more quad control, if you have more leg control. But my only concern with that is then you start thinking of the power in your legs and you then completely lose focus on the internal muscles. And this week is completely about the internal muscles and that wooden spoon. And you're holding it in a big bowl of gloop. It's heavy. You're moving the spoon forward, back, side to side, and hopefully eventually you're going to do a nice circle. Now it seems like, I just realized this, it seems like what I'm describing has a lot of tension in it. That tension isn't something that you think of. It just happens when we move. There's tension in movement. Anyway, don't worry about that. Don't even think about, oh, it has to look difficult. it does look difficult. Don't worry about it. But it also looks beautiful. So we're going to do this forward, back, and then at some point we're going to slip a circle. Oh no, forward, back, side to side, forward, back, and slip a circle in there. Here we go. Internal muscles engaged. Loosen them. Engaged. Loosen them. Oh, you can actually see it. You can see the sparkly. Thanks, Charlene. There we go. Engaged. Here we are. Sit high. Yes, I can feel them. And you can feel them kind of go like a base of power, because that's what you need to think. This is a powerful thing. And we're going to move them forward and back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then side. 3, 4, 5, 6. Forward and back again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Side to side. Here we go. And then think circle, think you're stirring the pot. Stir the pot with the wooden spoon, stir it. Here we go. Now I'm going to say drop the tension and just work the muscle. There we go. There we go. Let go of the concentration on the internal muscles and just use your external ones. There we go. Now internal ones again. Engage. Just think you're holding a wooden spoon and you're stirring, you're hitting all, it's a round pot, so you're hitting all the surface of the pot, the internal surface. There we go. Now you keep going. I'm going to turn around so you can see it from the back, because this is what everyone gets excited about. Now let's do it from the side first. So I'm going to sit high. I'm going to think, there we go. Put my hands up. Think consciously you're stirring a wooden spoon, and it's a pot, using your internal muscles. And if I turn and face the back of the wall, here we go. You keep going, or take a break if you need to. Here we go. And then ease out of it. Okay. Do it again. 5, 6, 7, 8. Stir. Stir. Thinking constantly that you're using your internal muscles. Stir. Don't worry if you're shaky. Ease out. So, we've worked a lot. So, what we're going to do is you lift up your left leg. Try to bring your foot to touch your bum, and you're stretching out the front of your legs. Do that. Oh, lovely. Did you hear that click? Dancer's legs, love. Hoi, hoi, hoi. Alternate right side. Fantastic. You're going to put your feet hip-width distance apart. Sweep your arms up. And then you're going to scoop down over straight legs and try to touch your hands to the ground. If you cannot touch your hands to the ground, it's fine. You can touch them to your knees. It's absolutely fine. Please listen to your body. Right, if you can, hold your ankles. It's a nice stretch to the back of the legs. Bend one knee. Straighten it, bend the other. Straighten them together, bend the other knee. Don't forget to breathe. Seems like an odd thing to say, but roll up. Seems like an odd thing to say to someone, to say, remember to breathe, but we tend to hold our breath when we're thinking and moving. It's so weird. If we're learning to do something new, we hold our breath, and then all of a sudden we're lightheaded, and we think we're lightheaded because of the movement, but we're actually lightheaded because we've literally been holding our breath. So hold in, out, in through the nose, and out through the mouth. It's also great for calming yourself if you're feeling slightly panicked or anxious. Just breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Concentrate on how the air feels coming in, nice and cold, and how warm it feels when it comes out. And just by concentrating on those two simple things, how the air feels when it's coming in, and how it tastes when it's going out. It tastes very warm because it's been in my body. That will help you calm down. I want to thank you for joining me for this week's session of Dance Sesh. I am looking for more lights so that I can get better lighting, so you can always see my beautiful brown self. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. As you can see, every week we're stacking up the sections. So this week we touched on moving in a circle a little bit. So next week we'll be firmly working that. Let's see your hands. They're going, oh, juicy. And that's the beginning of the full wine. And then from then on we'll start working on the different kinds of wines and things like that. And if you have any suggestions of one you want me to look at and break down, I will be happy to do it because I'll learn with you. Thank you so much for dancing with me. Out of the 7 billion people on earth, you chose me. Yay! And I love you. I pray you have a wonderful rest of your week and you take very good care of yourself. God bless. Bye-bye.